Okay, so I'm here making this video. I have an HP Spectre. I can put the information on the screen. It's 32 gig memory. It's an iCore 7, 12th gen. It's the i7 1260p and everything. So that's what I have right here in front of me. I just recently updated the drivers with the Intel Arcs graphics stuff. I put like the newest the dot 5000 driver on my computer. This has the 3070M GPU in it for the dedicated graphics on this laptop. This is a $2,500 spec machine. I went for the upgraded wireless card and all that type of everything. This is like the most expensive model you could get at the tail end of 2022. And I've kept dealing with this issue here and there with dealing with updated drivers from Intel, completely bricking my install. And so this time, when I did the update, my update was with when I had both my monitors. I have two monitors here. I had updated before where the internal monitor wouldn't work, but display out would work completely fine. Um, I'm gonna go through showing you what I'm doing to fix this, to reverse the changes, to go back to normal, basically, to not deal with this nonsense. Because I wholeheartedly think that Intel cannot make drivers to absolutely save their life. They were really bad in the beginning when I first bought the computer, and then they slowly crept up, got a little bit better, got a little bit better, got bad, couldn't play YouTube videos. Videos were like glitching out while pausing and playing and videos and stuff, and then it slowly went away with subsequent updates, and then it got really, really good, and then everything has more recently really gone to shit, where now they're just completely outright bricking my laptop when I update and everything. So I'm thinking, okay, well, last time I update was in January or something, or February. So I'm thinking, okay, now should be a good time to do updates because maybe they've fixed things by now. No, they have not. It has gotten completely worse. The Intel insiders community is absolute rubbish. There is nobody from Intel working there.
So this is a demonstration of um, I'm basically demonstrating starting a support ticket through Discord, and so this is the Intel Insiders community, and so I start out with saying, "Hey, I have a two monitor setup, both Thunderbolt ports, all that type of stuff." Like I list all the typical stuff that they ask for, what's needing, and this is like all they typically say what needs to be done, all this type of stuff. They think the whole system is frozen when it's just the internal display, and basically, I mean, this one guy, all he does is just keep saying DDU, DDU, and it's like you are kind of like completely missing the point. Everything was just going crazy. Like, I mean, I know this guy means well, all this type of stuff, but at the end of the day, in my opinion, he wasn't exactly getting down to the brass tacks of things perfectly necessarily. You can kind of see like how everything kind of goes and everything. And I mean, this went on for like 3 days more or less. And I'm like, this is just ridiculous. And then I had noticed that HP on their driver website wasn't they weren't publishing stable driver releases for the particular laptop, and I just go on, and then I think the guy just gave up and just didn't care anymore to just keep, solving, the issue. Like again, the volunteers, they don't really and then this one random guy goes off into talking about secure boot. I'm like, dude, what does secure boot have anything to do with you know my graphics? It makes no sense. And then I keep showing updates and I keep showing demonstrations of um basically, Intel Arc just being complete trash. I can basically show a demonstration of what I'm demonstrating here with um basically the the Linux support, like literally just complete garbage. So this was like a YouTube video that I show off of how basically this is how Linux runs on Intel Arc, and I'm like, dude, like this is how bad like it is basically, and it just like Linux keeps glitching out. And this is like how Intel Arc is on Ubuntu. Basically, it's feasibly unusable more or less. It's like very dog slow performance basically, and it just keeps just wigging out. Just to demonstrate how poorly Arc on Linux is. And so I don't think anybody saw any of it. And then he's talking about, oh, it's driven by like, people. And I'm like, I'm just going hard on this community in general. And I'm like, dude, like it's just this stuff is just like ridiculous. And then people are talking about, oh, I wouldn't spend that much on a laptop, all this type of stuff and everything. And he's talking about all this stuff because I'm talking about stuff. And then he was talking about, oh, you should work on disabling Turbo Boost. When, hello, there's not an option for that on the HP Spectre. Like just offering, just absolutely silly stuff. And then the track went completely cold. Because people just, I guess, they have a short attention span and they, like I said, they don't know how to, correctly help people, and they're recommending incorrect solutions that just feasibly just don't make any sense in my opinion. And this guy tries to, say I'm about community, I'm Intel admin and all this type of stuff. Like, yes, you might be an Intel admin, but what you're suggesting clearly, in my opinion, doesn't work. This is like an example in one of my games where, Intel Arc just wigs out, the screen wigs out, and all this type of stuff. And it's just like, yeah, like it's this software of the Intel Arc drivers, and the product just has multiple issues. Just as an example, and I could talk about this type of stuff like all day long. And yes, I'm writing lengthy responses, but I'm being an in detailed individual person with all of this, and people just yeah, these people honestly can't handle these type of, in my opinion, community support. I see other people writing, in my opinion, kind of mediocre um, you know, posts, and they do their best to make half decent things, but in my opinion, it's like, in my opinion, I think I would be like the most easiest case to diagnose to make everything what I'm saying make sense to these people that are, people will, you know, there are other people that are like me that'll have an issue, but then they write such little information. And then when somebody like me comes around and I write a very detailed, post of issues, it's like, oh, nobody can help you when you're being very detailed and stuff like that. So, I mean, there's just multiple level horrifying, posts here that just, some of them don't get replied to, some of them are in different languages. I think they only operate in English. Um, yeah, it's just crazy the amount of stuff that is discussed here. I can see there's like eGPU port people were talking about and stuff like that. And there's some levels of, I think, people that they buy something and then I don't think they understand what they know what they've bought, and they think that, like, they think that what they've bought is capable of what it's going to be. And like this one person, Sebi Webby, whoever this person is, I think they just keep making and keep having issues or something. I don't even know. Like, there's posts on here that go, untouched and unscathed. People, I mean, I guess the Intel community, I guess they're strictly Intel, and because it seems like there are like some posts here that if they say driver update talking about something, I guess people respond to it. But then if there's other people just posting general tech issues, they won't even spend a minute or anything and let it go by like 19 days to not even respond to anything and that type of stuff. And I can understand, okay, the person didn't give enough information. I can understand that, but yeah, I mean, there's just like, very little, you know, just very little like stuff like this where somebody says, okay, there's an issue, this isn't working, and then, where's that admin? Where's the moderator? That type of stuff. And it's like, it doesn't really go anywhere. I mean, I can see try the support assistant or something or other, but what happens when the normal methods of trying to fix something don't work? Like you are getting the equivalent of like level 0, level 1 tech support, if that, sometimes, depending on whoever's online in the moment or something. And um, you know, it's just really strange. And then it's, in my opinion, somebody who has posting about issues a lot is then going and then trying to then help others when they have issues with their own stuff, maybe, or something. Yeah, it's just really crazy to try to do my best to summarize this, but yeah, I think you're just gonna get very difficult, any type of support with anything, through this forum because again, they say that volunteers, they're normal people, and you definitely are getting exactly that. You're not really getting any proper help that actually solves any type of issue you might actually be having that, can be solvable if somebody actually put the effort in. But um, apparently, obviously these people aren't, being paid to do any of this. They're just doing it out of the goodness of their heart and whatever. But, in my opinion, it's just difficult to say, okay, what is the purpose of having a community if the help that's being given out isn't, reliable or it's not even there? And then it's only selective help that I'm noticing that's going on here and stuff like that. And I think there's just a lot just going on that they could do better, but I don't know. Every case is different, and my experience, in my opinion, has just been overall like just absolutely like terrible. So that's how I feel about where this kind of went, in my opinion.
They're only like volunteers. When I had the issue before back in February, I was writing paragraphs upon paragraphs and nobody could do anything. They're like, run DDU and reinstall. And I'm like, it's not doing anything. You people are like useless. I'm like, this is a really big issue for a $2,500 computer to be rendered useless. Yeah, like it's not something I should be laughing about, but I'm like, bro, like this is a terrible product of what they've done. I've had this laptop for a year. I have one of the cables for my displays here. I'm gonna try my best to show you what's going on and everything. So right now what should happen is once when I get into Windows and you see the big clock in the lock screen, basically it stays frozen there for like forever. It just stays put and still in that state. I'm gonna turn it on. I've given you my 4-minute interview or intro here basically. And yeah, like this is just like ridiculous. I don't know what it is with this silly keyboard coming up. I did some random Windows update driver thing and it added it for some reason. I can't seem to get rid of it, so I just gotta press that stupid little thing in the bottom. I've tried to clean my smartphone cameras and I guess they got a little bit fuzzy or blurry and whatever here. But yeah, this is an absolute joke from Intel bricking HP laptops. This is an issue that has been going on now for quite a while. I'll go here. I'll try to get in. So far, it might seem to be working, but very recently, see, like right there, now the screen is completely frozen. It works for like a minute or two, not even a minute, like a few seconds, and then the whole screen, like the mouse moving anything, it just gets completely locked. You try to touch the screen, you think you're gonna be typing 3690 is my password to get in, and it just stays completely locked there. I can't. I guess I can change the brightness with my keyboard, but there's supposed to be an on-screen dialogue that shows there. Like let's say I want to, mute or unmute. There's no indication of that happening or anything like at all. So basically, that's my issue where my screen just completely like it will work for just a split second and then it just says nope. But here's the quirk. I need to be plugged in probably, but basically the screen will only work for like a second or two, like a split second or two when I open and close the lid, and then it will be fine for like a split second or two, and then it goes back to a frozen image. It's just ridiculous. What is the purpose of this? It is absolutely ridiculous that a $2,500 laptop from 1 year that's not even 4 years old is having an issue like this. So let's see what happens when I plug in an external monitor. So right now we're trying to go into an external monitor. Here I am, and I'm logged in basically. And everything is completely fine, more or less. This phone screen is okay. Yeah, I'm trying to fix this. Okay, so this is me. I'm logged in to my computer and it works, but no internal display. It is absolutely dark and black. It's just completely like off or frozen. Like it's like really strange why this is happening like at all. And so I always have to go back to like an older driver basically. What you need to do when you got to deal with this issue, basically, I'm using an incognito window, and you just got to go to HP's website. And here's the most craziest thing is that HP is no longer officially making drivers for this laptop for the integrated or dedicated graphics anymore. And I'm like, what? And then I called up HP and I'm like, yo, like, can you release the driver for your laptop? Like, are you guys crazy and everything? And it's gonna take me quite a minute here to like go and find the drivers and everything. But it's just crazy that laptop is saying, "Oh yeah, this computer's really old and everything." It's a year old, and you're saying that it's really old. Like I should have recorded the call. It was just crazy. So I'm gonna go find the driver download page for this laptop, and then I'll resume this video. Okay, so I'm back. I have now gotten to the page and whatever. So let's say you go back here to what they're asking for identifying your laptop basically. It's really not that difficult. You can just press the Windows key, type SYS. You'll come to where it says system information, which is what you'd want. And so right where it will say on here system SKU, you can basically click that line. You can press Control C on your keyboard if it's working, and you can come in here. You can do Control V, and then what you can do is you can just delete everything before the letter 5 or whatever letter, and it will bring you to the specific page for your product. Since I'm on the Windows 11, like basically the newest version overall, even though I hate to be on the newest version, you'll now be brought here. And so now what you got to do is you got to come here down to drivers and graphics. And this is anywhere from here where it says Intel graphics driver. And the last time, supposedly, that they've made a driver for this computer, I think it was like September or March or something. And yeah, like, are you freaking serious, dude? Like, you're gonna now call this computer, like, supposedly, like, obsolete, that, you know, you're not gonna release a dedicated OEM graphics driver for the laptop that's only like a year old? Like, wow, like, are you crazy, bro? Like, are you freaking serious? So yeah, like when I called them and I'm like, yo, can you like please release a driver update that's like official because of this issue that I'm having? And it went nowhere. They just closed my case and they just didn't do anything. Like even if you come here for a like a firmware update for like your BIOS or anything, it's also sort of out of date as well. It's just kind of crazy, like ridiculousness, like what is doing here, like what they're doing here. Like if you come in here to BIOS, this is like the last time they released a BIOS for an update for this machine, which is just crazy. That in October 2017, 2023, like, I guess that's equivocally their end of, end of release. Basically, they just don't even care anymore. I think they've already gone up to like 15th or 14th gen on this computer now, basically, and it's technically even worse performance, actually, when you think about it. So I'm going to try to come in here and I have to literally tell it, okay, I want to download the oldest driver you got, basically, if I don't want to have to deal with having like any issues or whatever. So I'm going to come in here, I'm just going to save it to my downloads, and it does download kind of quickly. And I'm just going to wait for it to download here, basically. And I'm going to go from there, basically, right now. And when you do this, you are going to just click it and just run it. Just run it as it is and just go back to the oldest version. And this is what you literally have to do when the newest update literally bricks your computer. This is feasibly the only situation in the way that you can like fix your machine if anything goes wrong. Like, the only way. Which is just crazy. So yeah, I'm gonna close out these system informations. I don't need them anymore. I don't need Samsung Magician or anything. And I don't know what happened. I'm gonna have to figure out where and what it did. So I think it put it in the C drive, is what I think here. And I think it could have put it in HP, and I'm trying to see here where and what it did here, basically. Okay, so I was able to find the location of it. They put it on the C drive. It's under SW setup and this SP 145, 159, whatever, just random name nonsense. And I'm going to have to come in here and I'm going to have to run this exe file, it seems like, is what the case may be is. So let's see if that does anything, because it basically has, it does definitely have maybe that's not it. Actually, yeah, no, this seems more like it, I think. Yeah, because it has more of today's date going on here, I'm thinking. So, let's see here. Is this even what I want? I don't even think any of this is what I'm wanting, actually. This isn't even... I don't even think this even is the driver for the dedicated GPU anyways. Well, this is kind of half depressing anyways. So here's what we're gonna do. I think what I'm gonna end up doing is I'm gonna come here. I'm gonna come back to this. So what I've had to do is I've had to make bookmarks for all of the stupid stuff that I've had to keep track of. And so I've had to, instead of having to keep going to Intel's website like every single time for the stuff to go through and navigate through their retarded, promotion site of how great they think Intel Arc Graphics is. This stuff is just absolutely arbitrary, WH quality L certified. Yeah, that my butt. The thing is that I don't even think that the drivers that they're even offering here are old enough, because my archive of all the drivers that I had archived before February, I've completely lost. So, guess what? I'm gonna have to take a blank shot here and think that I need to download this and go stash it away somewhere. So, guess what? Let's see what happens if this makes my situation any better. So, I'm gonna just save this again, and I'm just gonna hope and pray that this is a little bit old enough that is what I want it to do. Because I did basically have my own dedicated archive of all of these things, and they just got completely nuked recently, like I described with that SK Hynix drive that came with my laptop. And yeah, this is just absolutely ridiculous. This stuff is just... This is just stupid for the amount of problems I'm having to deal with for a $2,500, laptop. Okay, so we are now currently trying to load this best, oldest, supposedly cross our fingers version to work, and everything. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go through and I'm gonna say, yes, we're gonna start this installation. I don't know why I can't. Okay, I want to go back to Exum. Okay, so it says something's not right. Do you want a forced installation? Yes. Yes, agree. And then I'm going to say agree. And then I want to execute a clean installation, because get whatever that new crap off my computer, because it just doesn't work. Start. And I'm going to hope and pray that this works. The stuff that started this whole thing in the first place is
just what happened in February when I installed a GPU update while connected to two monitors, but people on the Discord are saying no, no, like that's for the desktop GPUs. So they're trying to use desktop GPU driver updates for the mobile drivers of their laptop. So that's what they're trying to do. And nobody had an answer on Discord of properly how to bring back functionality for the internal display from working. Basically, turning my laptop into a feasible, almost paperweight of essentially dealing with the fact that, um, you know, you basically are dealing with almost thinking about your laptop being only a desktop and no longer working and nobody caring about anything feasibly working or being fixed, like at all. Nobody had a proper solution of how to navigate, but except saying run DDU and reinstall the new update. like like that's gonna do anything. And I did do that and it didn't do anything. It was the same result. And nobody had any information on how to do anything. So how can you be a volunteer in an Intel Insiders community about fixing anything? And I'm going to disconnect the external monitor because it's the internal monitor that I want working again. Because I use my laptop mobily quite a bit, you know? It would be really nice if I could go to a client's house and have my laptop working portably instead of saying, oh, I have a laptop, but I have to use it with a monitor only. Like, that's stupid. And nobody has like a proper fix. And Intel is overriding their archive of older driver updates. Like, this is just really ridiculous to be having issues like this on a $2,500, computer. And HP is like, oh, let's see here. Does my computer continue to work? Well, nope. Let's see here. Maybe I was wrong. Well, seems to be working. Well, now I better save that download. But really, I mean, Intel does it where they just love bricking their products. And it's just ridiculous that that's what fixed it. But, I mean, nobody can describe why this is and the way it's happening. Like, why? Why brick the internal display when you have, none of this makes no sense to me. I'm just so over it. This is why I'm making a video about it. I don't care how long it is. I'm being detailed because this is just ridiculous. I mean, come on. This is just a ridiculous issue to be having on, a $2,500 laptop. This is some of my specs on my computer, and everything I have here basically. It's an expensive machine, and this is just ridiculous behavior to be dealing with where a new update can completely brick your machine, like just completely.
So, on top of all of this nonsense and the ridiculousness of what's happened is I configured this computer with a 1 terabyte NVMe SSD, PCIe 3 or something, 3.0 or whatever, like the medium speed that you're going to have on a laptop here. And so what happened is just recently, like on the day of April 1st, April Fool's Day, when I had my NVMe drive that shipped with this computer, I had taken out, like right when I got this laptop, within the first month or two, I cloned my 1 terabyte drive that shipped with this computer. I cloned it onto a 2 terabyte Samsung drive, and then after I had cloned the data, it's working like you can see here. It's working and everything. Nothing's wrong with the Samsung drive. But the drive that was shipped from SK Hynix that came with this computer from the factory completely bit the dust within a year. And I was using it in an external drive enclosure from Ugreen, and it's been completely fine until on April 1st when I wanted to use it, and the drive just completely just bit the dust and corrupted all 1 terabytes of my data on the drive that came from this computer from the factory. Like, talk about dodging a bullet of not using the integrated SSD that came from the factory and me cloning it over to a Samsung drive. And I've been brutally using my machine, and I'm all the way up to I think about like 26 terabytes. I'm coming up on 27 terabytes written on this NVMe drive from Samsung. And it's lasting very well. And I do a lot of After Effects work. I'm caching a lot of data to the drive and everything, all that types of stuff. And yeah, it's crazy. So, you know what I just did? I just lost a whole entire terabyte worth of data, backed up drivers for this from older drivers to make this work and try to get through this issue basically.
As an update to the story to Intel Arc Control, um, being any kinds of better, um, I can say that there definitely was a time when, from what I've recorded and showed, and what you've seen in this video, my current update, is that essentially the issues, that I was having eventually did get resolved, but the, again, the issue is how irritating the drivers are, and when it comes down to still the feasibility of using an Intel graphics computer, um it's the equivalent of having integrated graphics at the end of the day. um like when you want to do, um you know you want to come into, if I make an example here right here on the spot, I have After Effects 2022 for an example here. So I'm going to come in here with Element 3D, right, as I'm showing and I'm demonstrating. So I have my solid, I have my text, and so I want to make this into 3D text, right? So all I gotta do is define the text. So I come in here to the custom layers like you should. I'm gonna say that's the text, kaboom. This text, I can turn off. That doesn't need to be on. I can come in here to scene setup, and when you have Intel integrated graphics, you got to do the extrude, and so basically I got to come in here, and I can just define some sort of, text. Maybe I want to have Chrome text for an example, and so I think that's going to be ideal. You've got to define an environment. So I'm going to do that. And you come in here and, this is maybe what I want to define. And integrated graphics with this Intel Arc, you know, it not being integrated graphics, it's a dedicated GPU, essentially. And, I'm using, you can see here, it detects my dedicated graphics of the Intel Arc, and it says I have zero video memory, I have 4 gigs, 15 gigs of VRAM, whatever Windows wants to tell it. Supposedly, actually, the VRAM reading's wrong because I have a video game open, but you know, um, I feel like I'm pretty confident saying it's not using any GPU VRAM. You can come in here into Resource Monitor. Um, I don't know if Resource Monitor tells you what a program is using for VRAM. Last time I checked, I believe memory is about just normal system memory. I think this is like a tool from like Windows 7 anyways. So in my opinion, I don't even think anything here is believable in the first place because it's not going to tell you VRAM usage. I don't think it is like at all. Um, so yeah, basically, plugins and tools like I would love to use for Element 3D. You can see it here. The text is rendered black when it should be rendered in Chrome. Um, Basically, I can press OK, and if I turn back on, you can see it's like this. I gotta add a camera. Come in here, camera, and if I do like the orbit tool, you should somehow be able to there should be a way to like view this in 3D somehow, but I don't think it's working anyways. It just wants to render black, basically. It just doesn't want to cooperate. Um, yeah, so I mean, basically, the text has no lighting whatsoever. I remember Element 3D, it does work with After Effects lighting. So I can come in here, make a point light, and doesn't render like at all. Doesn't recognize there's a point light at all in the scene for how Element 3D works and operates. Um, so yeah, I mean the lighting doesn't work. I know I once made a GitHub request for Intel to fix it, and after 2 months they closed it, and I showed screenshots, I showed full proof, system information, everything, and basically they patched it as fixed and working. Yeah, right. Um, and so that went very well and swell in general. So basically, you can't really do anything with creativity wise if you want to, do anything at all. If I want to come in here and I want to use I remember yeah, this was like another thing too. Intel Arc, when you turn on, it just wigs out in After Effects. When you turn on Draft 3D, it just wigs out like completely. It's just like nope. That was like another thing too. Broken with Intel Arc over here. Um, I mean, this is just a realistic perspective. I want to be able to use this to do productivity and it that just doesn't work like at all. Um, I know there's like an advanced 3D thing. If you want to do like if you want to do um like I know that there's like this thing you can do in After Effects with like 3D rendering, and there's not an advanced rendering option either. So that option isn't there or brought back or operating properly. So yeah, that's how that works. So this is just like what I've been trying to describe about how um
irritating and non-functional Intel Arc is for creative applications and people who, like who wants to use something that doesn't work, properly at all, even in the first place.